Welcome back. I'm Ari Melber. 8 o'clock on the East Coast. You're watching MSNBC's continuing special coverage as Joe Biden is elected the 46th president. Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris planning to hit the ground running. We're already learning about announcements for tomorrow on the transition and a new COVID transition task force. We're also looking ahead to day one of the Biden administration with reports of a flurry of executive orders to reverse what Donald Trump's been doing with executive power. For his part, Trump's spending the day golfing. Second day in a row he's done that. No public statement. We've got a very special show for you right now, including some special guests and my special comment that I haven't made yet on what it all means this weekend. Also later, I should tell you, we will have Eva Longoria here live tonight. But we begin immediately with our all-star panel of experts. Jason Johnson, professor at Morgan State University, former United States Senator Barbara Boxer, and Jonathan Jays Green, who worked on Senator Warren's campaign and leads the Progressive Marguerite Casey Foundation. Senator Boxer, what does it all mean to you tonight?
Relief, happiness, joy. It's been really difficult for those of us who felt this president was leading us into a tyrannical place. And, you know, I honestly think that, and I say this, that maybe it's not politically correct, but I think that Joe Biden was the only one who could have done this. And, you know, he met the moment and people trust him. He's got so much empathy. He knows how to work with folks and get things done. So I'm so happy, Ari, but mostly it's relief. You know.
Jonathan?
I think I also share the relief as someone who is undocumented and who's been fighting the politics of fear and hate of this administration. It is such a relief for our communities across the country to be able to say, to stop the bleeding, right? Because we know that one election is not going to bring the justice and the freedom that we're fighting for, but we know that it has and it will make a big difference. So to me, I took yesterday and I'm taking today to celebrate, and tomorrow we're right back to work. Right back to bringing and fighting for the future we all deserve.
Yeah, and as you say, that's certainly the Biden-Harris administration's plan, because we're seeing them going right back to work tomorrow, first work day of this, regardless of how Donald Trump handles it. So if the work day is tomorrow, Jason Johnson, who's been one of our analysts throughout this whole wild ride, that means tonight we're not yet back to the work day. And so I want to get into some of the memes. These are going viral online, yes, but not everyone looks at the same thing. And some of them are so good, we cut them for air. The context here is there was a famous clip of Joe Biden in September where he took out a cell phone to play the hit song Despacito at the podium in Florida. Well, someone's remixed that with a very different but very relevant song and cut in some reactions. Take a look.
Thing to say. Hang on here.
Jason?
You know, Ari, the original version of that was actually YG and Nipsey. It really was. It was actually changed to "You About to Lose Your Job." I think what that reflects is that there's been a tremendous amount of creative joy about Donald Trump being pushed out of office. The memes from making fun of Nevada to the nation being saved by Atlanta to various clips from Key and Peele about, you know, the president saying, you know, thank you, you're welcome to all sorts of different kinds of states and ignoring people in different parts of the country. It's like a creative explosion. And we've seen this, right? That's the kind of thing that happens after oppressive regimes end. You have artists, you have creators, you have musicians sort of coming out. I don't think we are going to fully recognize for a couple of weeks, maybe even months, how much repression culturally there was with the Trump administration and how free people are going to feel afterwards.
Well, Jason, putting us on to the fact that you're saying there were remix versions with FDT on it, and that was too hot. You know, that's not going to go as viral because it's kind of hot, pretty hot. Jonathan,
yes.
Well, Jonathan's laughing. Weigh in if you want. I have a question for you as well.
Well, I mean, like, I think what I really want to talk about, Ari, is really talking about the people who made this possible. Like, I love taking a second to enjoy and really celebrate this moment, but I really want to make sure that we're giving credit to the organizers, to the young people who came out and voted in record numbers, right? Like, to me, like the young Black people, the Latinx communities in key states like Arizona and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. To me, what I'm holding in this moment is, how are we as a country going to deliver for them the way that they delivered on the election night?
Yeah, fair. Senator Boxer, I saw Ava DuVernay posted today talking about all the creativity. She said, try to do your job in a way where if you lose it, people are not dancing in the streets all over the world.
Yeah.
Senator.
I mean, when I saw that explosion, that spontaneous explosion of joy, I mean, no one really organized it. People just came out. I'm old enough. I wasn't old enough to see the celebrations after World War II, but I was born right during World War II. And those famous photos, those iconic photos of people just streaming out. And of course, the historians are basically telling us this is what happens when dictators get overthrown. People just come out and celebrate. And it's stunning. When I heard that, I stopped in my tracks. I've been through 5 presidents, okay? I've served with 5 presidents. I've seen transitions. I've never seen any president act like this. But I have to tell you, even after Barack Obama got elected, and my heart swelled and I thought the whole world was better. I thought everything was done, and nobody went into the street. They went into the street after this Trump. And it says so much. And historians, when they do write about it, I think it's going to be a page of the book. Just last point, I know how much you love music. Sure. 6 seconds before it was announced that the networks had given it to Biden, I was on my elliptical in my garage listening to, you're going to think I'm so old, Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. You probably don't even know who they are. And I thought, I love this, but I'm going to switch over to MSNBC. Switched over to MSNBC. The moment they announced it, jumped off, ran to tell my husband, almost killed myself. But I'm here. There's a lot of joy. There's a lot of joy. I'm here.
Yes.
We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here through the 5 presidents that you've worked alongside in the Senate and the experience you bring. No, it is. We're talking about, and it's hard. Look, what do we do in our jobs? We do reporting, we do sourcing, we use words, we show the videos. It's hard to get through the camera here and really, even we've shown all these things. We went to the memes a little bit, Jason, because it's hard to get to that next level. And it brings to a point I want you to speak on that Michelle Goldberg raised later in our previous coverage of the previous hour, which was, are they going to go around now and ask of the rest of America to do what was asked of after 16, of try to understand the Trump voter? Well, do you want to go understand the Biden voter, and do you want to understand why is it, as the senator just spoke about, that so many people feel literally liberated? What is it about the way the government's been running that people feel, not differences of opinion, you have a difference over how big should the federal education budget be, or should it be more locally funded? Right. Okay, that's a debate. The people aren't dancing in the streets over that. They're dancing in the streets over why they feel finally liberated.
Yeah, Ari, this is an important historic context that I think everybody needs to understand. I have my political scientist hat on now. Usually, you don't get, in countries, even democracies as old as ours, usually you don't get rid of an aspiring dictator through the electoral process, right? The Philippines is going to have trouble with Duterte. Brazil is going to have trouble with Bolsonaro. Erdogan is probably going to be there for life. Putin is not going to leave until he wants to leave. The idea that America, and I'm not usually heavy on American exceptionalism, but given the ways that Donald Trump had cheated, that he had perverted everything from the post office to the Department of Justice to basically turning the Republicans in Congress into his own personal wing of power and abuse. The fact that we were able to remove somebody like that through the peaceful process of voting is miraculous. That is historic on so many different levels. And people were out there because we have liberated ourselves without having to shoot anybody. And that's pretty amazing for American history.
Well, when you put it that way, it's like a riddle. What's the last time that someone who was holding on to an authoritarian type goal, whether they achieved it or not, actually was thrown out by a democratic process? I mean, I guess you'd have to go back to like Pinochet in Chile. They had the Sí o No campaign, and they actually had a vote, and he actually lost the vote, and it was like a thing. But to your point here, it's not my job to tell people how to vote or what to think. It's an objective fact that Donald Trump openly talked about breaking election law, having his supporters vote multiple times and other people not, and all the rest. Senator?
Well, the power of the vote is so strong, and the message got through to the people, to an incredible, coalition of people who look different, pray different, love different, have different economic values and so on and so forth. But they understood. The big mistake Trump made is he kept trying to take away our vote. And people, especially young people, they want to be part of a revolution. And voting never was cool before. And now it was cool because why? Trump kept saying, we're not going to let these people vote. We could take away the votes of these people. It's all fraudulent. And all of a sudden, people said, we're not going there. So the beauty of this is the power of the vote. And I've often said, when you get in that voting booth, this time a lot of us did it right at home, you are as powerful as the most powerful CEO or anybody else. It is our vote. And I think the country is going to change because I think when young people vote, they keep voting. I mean, they're not going to just now turn away, and we have to focus on Georgia, and now we have to take this to Georgia, and I am so excited at the prospect of this ticket, which is historic in many ways, that ticket that we're going to be voting for.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope you're right, Senator. I hope voting stays cool. This was a tremendous way to kick off the hour. I appreciate each of you, Jason Johnson, Senator Boxer, Jonathan Jays Green. Still ahead in this hour special coverage.